Hey folks, Toaster back. Got another ace tanker for you. This time it's Utred in his SU-130 PM. We are on the map Siegfried Line and it's a standard battle. And let's make the map a little bit bigger. And this tank destroyer, I don't know if I've put it on the channel before or not, but it's basically a paper TD with a 520 alpha gun, and it's got really good penetration. It's kind of the other Russian answer to the Scorpion G. And so it's got 243 pen, it's got 320 with its gold rounds, and its HE rounds have 65 pen. So this is going to be a bit of a slow game, and so we're probably just going to maybe speed it up a little bit for a little bit until he repositions. Now the guys that are that Tiger and the T20 are not shootable, and you can tell by his reticle that he really doesn't have a shot on them, because although it's hard to tell with all these people on the side, there's some wall in the way here, so he really does not have shots on these guys. And eventually he's going to decide to move, and that's going to prove to be a very profitable reposition. So this thing, usually it's me getting hit by him because I'm the guy up front. But he does see the Indian Panzer, and he'd like to get a shot on that Indian Panzer. And let's see if we'll slow it back down here. No spoilers, but I think right now he's going to have a shot on the ISU. And I don't know if he notices, but he does finally notice that, and he puts a nice 553 roll, which is a bit of a high roll into him. This thing hits like a truck, and it's got a pretty good reload for as big a gun as it is. And there's another 500, so he's already over 1,000 damage with 2 shots. So I don't have this tank, and I've never played it, but I assume that it's a pretty good tank destroyer as far as they go, because really high alpha is very important on tank destroyers. Tries to feather a shot on the 53 TP, and it's obvious that the enemy team is pretty heavily invested over on the other side of the map, and he is doing well by his gun. And you notice that his team is down 4-6. This is exactly what you want in a tank destroyer. You want the enemy team to be a little bit ahead, and that's going to leave a mark on the T20, but not far enough ahead that you get overrun. And so this is the perfect combination, and he's also in a good position, right? So there's 2 things in his favor. One is the enemy team is pushing a little bit too hard, as he probably realizes that T20 is not going to poke back out. But also, they aren't losing so badly that he gets overrun. So this thing is a redliner, and you're going to see him redline a bit in this. And he repositions as he sees this Progetto 46 get lit. And I think that's a good reposition, because it's going to give him shots into the city, and it's also going to give him shots on this Progetto, which 537, and that Progetto is now a 1-shot for him. So he has to back off. That Progetto does. Just his gun is so intimidating against these guys. And another shot into the Tiger P, and it just stacks up. But it's 6-10. It's not looking good, but he's got the rear of tanks and the side of tanks, and he helps his 45 TP survive. That is a crucial thing that he does in this game. And we'll have to see if that blind shot hit. It sure looked good to me. As he reloads, and he takes a blind shot from somewhere. So that tells me that he probably did hit that Indian Panzer as he takes out the Progetto 46. So they're pulling it back slowly, right? As the Indian Panzer is behind a building now and is not hittable. Every time it feels like they get a kill back, they end up losing another guy. That get him lit? No? Guess not. So there's yet another kill. And there is one arty in play, and one thing about this thing is you get full penned by arty. If, you know, in some cases. If they hit you flush, you're going to get full penned. Oh, it'd be nice to hit that shot. Oh, that's unfortunate. And it's time to boogie, right? You do not want to be visible in this thing. The LTG somehow bounces probably off of his tracks, and the Scorpion, the Tier 7 American Scorpion, does hit him with a heat round of all things. But he's a Tier 7 and a Tier 8 game. But, you know, one thing, and you play this very well, but one thing that I think might help your team is to let them know that both of the enemy tanks are on your flank. So you could just say, because that TS5 then doesn't have to be careful. He can just do whatever he wants, right? He can go hunt down arty or position himself on a ridge where he's hard to flank. There's a lot of things he could do in case they decide to come back, or he could come back through the city. It's just, it would be really helpful to your team. Oh, and the snapshot works. Oh, a low roll of 498. How terrible. And I would assume Artie is very interested in you. One thing that I do is I knock these two trees down as you get hit by Artie, but just splashed. And those two trees will provide a lot of cover for you. And if you knock them down now, then if you decide to go back to that position, no one will know you're there. But Utred is just playing a patient game, as he should. He's got 4,700 damage that we can see, possibly a shot on that Indian Panzer, and 200 assists. So not too much assist, but that's normal in this tank. So it's down to just him and the TS5, and the TS5 is rightly going back into town because that thing has wicked armor, but if it gets flanked, he's in trouble, right? So not much to say here, just bush camping. Another good place to bush camp is right here. I probably would have gone further back. Personally, I would have gone maybe back here or even back on the back road. Because if they decide to cap, you're set. You know, if they decide to cap, all you have to do is just poke up enough to get vision. And with your gun, you're going to be able to kill them off. So the LTG has weird armor layouts. Normally I would load HE, but with the weird armor layouts and the fact that he's fast as well, you don't want to miss your shot. So I understand why he's using standard rounds here. Heat rounds would be a poor idea. HE rounds, they might be an okay idea if you're good with the shell velocity. However, I understand why he's using standard rounds. And this TS5 is back in town, and the TS5 is able to light up this tank. And I think that there's a ridge there. I believe that there's a ridge. So it's okay to be a little bit patient in that case. Although, had the TS5 needed help, you could have gone in and helped him. There's a nice shot. Nice shot into the Scorpion. And you know enough to ram him. The Scorpion has 1 millimeter of armor. So you get some ramming damage. Takes you up to 5,600 damage. Now, one of the things you'll notice, he is kind of going, while he's lit, he's going sideways to where he thinks the arty is. I would have assumed the arty was up in here. The TS5 seems to think he's up there, but one clue we have is the TS5 is full health, right? So there's no way he could possibly know where that arty is because he hasn't taken any hits from arty. And if they splash you, it does not give you an indicator. So unless they hit you fairly flush, then you're going to take damage, right? You're going to take at least a little damage. So there's no way that TS5 could really know where the arty is. He's just guessing. But if the arty was back here, you almost have to go all the way in the corner with some arties to be able to know if he's there or not. Although it looks like you did a pretty good job of scouting that, but there's a little area in the very back corner there that they can sit. And because the TS5 is very concerned that the arty is back there, he's going to go take a quick look, and he does not see him. So good spotting mechanics on your part. And this TS5 is just going for a drive. Now, it's a good thing that they did catch this guy out, because if they had not, there's 2 minutes left in the game, and I don't think that TS5 could even get to cap in that amount of time. And so it was kind of all or nothing here. But, you know, it's arty. He's going to be sitting in the field. He had shots on you, and I believe the TS5 kind of scouted out the cap area. So chances are he is in the field. So anyways, that's a great game. Let's look at the after action and see if he hit that Indian Panzer. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm a little confused here. I don't remember Utred actually firing more than one blind shot, but apparently he did, and I can't figure out who he hit. But he ended up with 6,488 damage for his ace tanker, and obviously his high caliber in a carry game. 1,527 base XP, 5 kills. That's impressive, Utred. Thanks for sending this in. I really appreciate it. He had a personal action payout, and also he had a premium account. Earned him 177,000 credits. Very little player assistance, but direct hits and penetrations. Anytime he made contact, he pinned. So the 3 shots that missed, obviously he's not going to pin on, but this vehicle in this matchup is very, very powerful. It played well, and Utred showed us how to play it well. 4,800 experience. It was on a 2 times, plus he has a premium account. That's going to help your crew. I believe this is a Russian tank for your Russian TDs. So thanks again for sending it in. Please do send your replays in. I've got a few that I don't check my Google account that much, but I do have a few replays to show you guys from viewers. So I will try and knock those out, and we will catch you tomorrow.